I'm not doing this, Keenan. I am not doing this.
I am so glad. I
feel like. Can I get put on a pedophile list for wearing something like this?
Yes. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
Get over here.
I do not want to do this.
Yeah, you gotta count up toe.
I know. I just gotta like guard this part.
Walk slower. Oh my
little wings.
Goodness.
Huh?
Hold on, time out.
What?
Don't sit down yet.
What? I gotta watch like you got. There's a portion of this.
Let me see the backside.
Larry Fitzgerald booty. I know. I don't know about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
My gosh.
You look incredible.
This is ridiculous. Huh? Yeah, I feel ridiculous. Beyond ridiculous. One of a kind, baby. I'm one of a kind. I'm a unicorn.
Time out.
I'm a unicorn. I'm sitting down.
So you got to keep that on the whole time.
I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah. I'm so glad I just got the jelly beans.
Yeah, thanks a lot. This is ridiculous. I feel like the Easter Bunny, the Easter Bunny's fat cousin.
It's actually a unicorn there, huh?
Yeah.
That's a
It
bit
is a unicorn.
odd. I can't tell.
And it's like a side. We got this thing way too small.
Yeah.
I bought this thinking you were gonna get punished, and it backfired. Really? It backfired on me.
Really? I kind of say,
it backfired.
Oh no, you turned me on a little bit.
It's a family show.
No,
okay, can we move on? Can we please move on?
It's gonna be hard for me to continue.
Just don't look. Just look that way. Oh my gosh, I can't even look that way. Whew. Okay.
Wow.
Can we please move on?
Okay.
You've had your moment. Time to get a little bit serious.
Hey man, I gotta Snapchat this or something. This is great.
No.
You got an underwear?
Yes. Yes. Let's move on, please. Okay. Time to move on.
All right. Let's get into some NFL action there. There was really a lot of good games that went on. There's a few that highlight of the weekend. But let me knock out some that really stand out to me. A whole lot. Let's start off with Jameis Winston looked phenomenal.
He did. He had a great week. I mean, they're playing Atlanta, but for the first week of the year, they came out. They showed up. They played well. I thought Jameis Winston. He looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Easily, what did he throw for? Like 345, 348, 4 touchdowns.
Hey, if you have him in your fantasy league, good pickup.
He was beasting.
Because I didn't expect this at all.
I mean, they just looked like they were running on all cylinders. The defense looked like they got stops when they needed to get stops. Their offense was, virtually unstoppable for a little bit. That Charles Sims run that he had at the end of the first half, that was a great run.
Yeah.
Way to finish off the half. You know what I mean?
So for me, as I sit and watch games, I kind of take notes on little things. And for some reason, I always relate a lot of things to movies I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when I watch Jameis Winston play, I put down here that he reminds me of, remember in The Matrix when Neo figured out he was the one?
Mm-hmm.
When they were shooting at him and he said no, and all of a sudden he just went nuts?
Yeah.
That's what he reminds me of. He reminds me that he's figured out that he is
early.
the one.
It's still early. They played the Falcons.
The proof is in the pudding.
You're the one that's always saying the Falcons are terrible. So he had a good week one.
He played
We'll see at the end of the week. He played. He was great. He was really great. I mean, him and Andrew Luck. I think they were two of the best quarterbacks stats wise.
Speaking of Andrew Luck, let's go and move on to Andrew Luck. Now, okay, I will say I've been talking down on Andrew Luck. I'm still not on the Andrew Luck Kool-Aid, but Andrew Luck, great game. But here's how I sum up Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck is the hero that dies at the end of the movie because he saves everything and everyone, but he can't make it himself to get over that hump there. So
he needs some help.
I agree that he does need help, but again, I kind of feel like it's going to be another one of those years where he's going to break every stat there is if he's healthy. But again, the organization in itself is not going to go anywhere.
It'll be different too, because he's got a little bit more competition in his division. Usually, his division's a walkover, and it's just they can make it to the playoffs every year because before Jacksonville wasn't very good, Houston wasn't very good, and Tennessee wasn't very good. But this year, Houston looks like they could be a decent team, especially they're going to get a little bit better quarterback play than they did last year out of Brock Osweiler. At least that's what it looks like early on. So we'll see. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs or not. And they need a lot of help. Andrew Luck, what did he throw for? 389, 4 touchdowns, and they still lost. No interceptions, didn't throw a pick.
If you base greatness off of fantasy play, then Andrew Luck's your quarterback. He played great, but in the end, to me, it's just like it doesn't matter how great you play if you have nothing to show for it in the end.
A win is a win.
Exactly. But let's talk about was a big highlight too, the Dallas Cowboys and the Giants.
It's kind of a boring game. But it was still Terrence Williams running inbounds when there's only 10 seconds left on the clock and you have no timeouts. That was, and when Des Bryant's the voice of reasoning saying, go to the sideline. Terrence Williams has been in the league too long for that.
You know what? That was a dumb boo-boo mistake. I'm not blaming the whole thing on him. But it still would have been a 60-yard field goal.
At least it gives him a chance.
But let me start off with this. Dak. I'm still high on Dak, but I'm not in the penthouse anymore.
Nah.
I'm still on a higher level, but here's the thing. They made him throw 45 times.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott wasn't that impressed.
No, he wasn't.
I wasn't that impressed.
Their offensive line wasn't impressive either. They're all
the Giants' offensive line looked like the offensive line that they were at.
Their running game, when Ezekiel Elliott's got 20 rushes and only gets 50 yards, something's wrong. Your offensive line isn't doing their job. And also, I think that Dak, his very first reception or completed pass was to Des Bryant. How many receptions did Des Bryant have for the rest of the game? He had one. He had one reception. Yeah. You got to find him. He's got to find the ball.
Agreed.
That's where. It's just like us watching the Chiefs over the weekend. We're like, you got to find Macklin. And once they started finding Macklin, good things started happening to the offense. So it's the same way. Like if that's the advice I can give Dak is, find your man. Des Bryant. He's not one of the best receivers in the league for no reason.
Well, I do. I agree with that. And one of the things that I did notice, even though I think they went out with a game plan for him to throw a lot, but Beasley and Witten. These underneath. But the problem is with that, Witten's not going to beat you. They're not going to be. Beasley's not going to beat you. You again, like you said, you got to get that ball to Dez. Yep. Absolutely, Dez. Now there was a few times that.
Dez had that catch that wasn't a catch in the end zone. Right. So that was, but still, you got to go back to him. He makes that. He almost comes up with that catch. You got to go back to him.
I feel like it might be a difficult stadium to play in because there were just lights in certain areas of the stadium too, but I don't want to give them too many excuses. Yeah. But again, there's still more to be seen as far as Dak's concerned. So in the next one, let's go into our game. I got a few questions for you in the Chiefs, like you said, in San Diego. If you left the game early, I'm sorry, because all the money was in the last quarter of that game.
Oh, yeah. The second half was great. And it was just kind of like every time we were watching it together, and every time I seen the Chiefs score, I was like, okay, but we need to hold them to at least the field goal this next drive. And they kept doing that, and we just kept looking at each other like, this might happen.
I'm sorry.
But they had the magic of the unicorn. You know what I mean? I wouldn't sprinkle some of my fairy dust on them.
Don't give it away. I'm sorry.
This steak feels awesome, though. I just keep rubbing it. I know you can't see it out of screen, but I'm just rubbing the crap out of my legs right now. It feels so good.
Man. I'm so sorry. I wish everybody could see what I see. Anyway, back to the Chiefs. Who calls the plays for the Chiefs?
Andy Reid.
And offensive and defensive.
Brad Childress does too. No, they take turns. I don't know if it's a kind of a plays by committee or whatever. Between him and Brad Childress.
You think they switched up on the calling? Because our defense changed in the fourth quarter.
First half they were playing off people. Marcus Peters was not the Marcus Peters that we had last year. So there was a little difference, and I think a big thing too was once Keenan Allen went down with that injury, it seemed like the air went out of San Diego. Their offense just kind of Even though Danny Woodhead played a good game.
I think it was mental too, because that man has been trying to get back to the field for a while.
And San Diego, you know, you can see, because I've seen it before. San Diego, there was a couple years ago when all they had to do is it was like 4th and 29 against Baltimore, and all they had to do was stop them to make the playoffs. And what they did a dump off pass to Ray Rice, and Ray Rice picked up the first down. So I've seen San Diego do that stuff before.
Right.
So you can kind of see them. It was kind of, I think it was a balance of both of them. Chiefs took the game, and at the same time, San Diego gave it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, number one, Chiefs shouldn't have been down that much in the first half.
So, but you know, the Jekyll and Hyde gameplay though here this week was nuts. I just feel like this. I really love to see the poise and for them to come back and the fight to come back. That was great, but you're not going to be able to do that.
No.
Yeah,
no.
I don't want to be in that position.
You're lucky you had San Diego Chargers in the first week.
You know, it's very entertaining, but
yeah,
I don't know about that going forward. So hopefully the adjustments have been made for the next game. I think we play Houston next.
Well, and like I've always told you, it seems like Kansas City always comes out. Andy Reid, he always comes out the first week, and we always blow it. You know. So, but moving on, what do you think about the 2-point conversion to win the game?
Ha! Man, what cojones?
Yeah.
Cojones, you got some cojones to do that, man.
I mean, I feel like they converted it, so everything's all good. I mean, you can see his mindset because would you want to give the ball back to Drew Brees? Drew Brees still marched him down the field and gave their kicker a chance. Granted, it was like a 61-yard kicker, or a 61-yard kick, and he was a rookie kicker. So I could see where he's gonna miss it, but it wasn't that far off. He was pretty close.
I feel like the Raiders.
And there's only like 40 seconds left in the game.
Hey, the Raiders are back. They got their franchise quarterback. You know, you got to take chances like that.
You got a franchise wide receiver.
Yeah,
Michael Crabtree's come back alive. You know,
yes.
They got one of the best defensive players in the league.
I love that game. But to say about the Saints,
and they came back because the Saints were winning.
But the thing about the Saints, here's what happened. Now, we both agree that Drew Brees does deserve his money.
Oh yeah.
But it shows in the secondary. They gave him
the
money. They gave him all the money, and they couldn't afford to buy nothing else.
Even with the kids, even with the guys they got, the Willie Snead, Brandon Cooks, they drafted those guys. So Drew Brees is going to make them great. He's kind of like Big Ben with all the receivers he's had. He makes them great.
Yeah.
But you need to focus more on the defensive end. Your defense is getting every year. They're one of the bottom defenses in the league every year. And Drew, I would get frustrated if I was Drew Brees.
They don't have no more money to spend, man.
Yeah.
They don't have no more money to spend.
Yeah.
Hey, I take $1,500 a week.
Yeah.
Say you or somebody. But
league and penalties.
So what about the guys? So let's talk about Carson Wentz, man. What do you think?
For a rookie star, especially with that rib fracture he had or whatever, I thought he played great.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those deep balls, we were watching the game. Some of those 2 deep balls that he threw,
veteran type throws.
Perfect. Yeah, even coming out of the draft, I didn't think he was much of a thrower because I felt like he was more of a runner in college. But he made some great throws. Yeah. He made some.
Looked incredible. I would say the Browns are a good starter team to start with.
We'll see what it looks like when he's getting some pressure in his face.
Yeah, absolutely. Great throws though. I mean, he looked phenomenal.
And he had the confidence. That's what I liked. He looked like he had some confidence out there playing. And you go down. It was the first drive. He was the first one to score a touchdown this year. He was the very first person to throw a touchdown this year in the league. So that's something.
Yeah, I agree. RG3 went down again.
They said he may not play again this year.
We're gonna say he's a bust.
I read a report today saying that the Browns were thinking about just not bringing him back, depending on how this. Because they said they're going to reevaluate him 3-4 weeks.
I didn't go too far into it. It's a shoulder, correct?
Yeah, if he needs surgery, they're saying at least 10 weeks, and the Browns are saying they may not even have him back on the roster.
Who do they have to back him up?
I don't even remember. I don't know.
McCown?
That's who it was.
McCown? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, anyway,
Josh McCown,
I mean, it wasn't waste time on the Browns.
That's enough on them.
Anyway,
so
I did really like. I would say this is the game of the week for me. It's going to be the
Cowboys.
No, I'm going to actually say the Patriots.
That was amazing. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy G. Jimmy.
I feel like the Cardinals weren't weren't quite what they usually are, but they they were still.
Listen, man.
Anytime
they're a top 3 team.
Anytime they said the spread even bounced from the first of the week it was 5.5. They were the Cardinals were giving up, and by the end of the week it was 9.5 because they don't have Gronk. You don't have Gronk on your team, and you don't have you're starting Ninkovich, you're starting linebacker. That's arguably their best player on defense.
Chandler.
And you go into Arizona, who went to the NFC Championship game last year, and you win with your backup quarterback. That's good. I
guess we figured out who's
runs
the alpha there.
Yeah.
When we say the Belichick, Brady, Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
Belichick finds a way to win. And what I do like about Belichick, it ain't like, some schemes are running schemes or passing schemes. The thing about Belichick, what he does, he studies who you are and they adapt to who you are for that team. Because I can barely name defensive players on that team. I know Chandler. I know he's
not there no more.
I know they lost him.
Yeah.
So that was another piece.
Yeah.
So for me and every other first start in the league, Jimmy G is the guy because he had less to work with. Dak had that line, of course.
Yeah.
Dez Bryant, Witten. I mean, he has some people to throw to. I mean, I can give you Edelman, yeah. But as far as everybody else, I can't really tell you.
If they would have went in there and won with Gronk, I could have been like, okay, this is
Gronk,
I could see why they won, but they went in there with nobody, and they still won.
Yes, absolutely.
Garoppolo looked good. He made some really nice passes too.
Absolutely.
That one that Hogan down the sideline, that was perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was a quick throw, and
I agree.
He was good. He was good. What'd you think about the Seattle-Miami game?
Boring.
It was boring. I think that Kenny Stills drop, that might be that. I mean, that's something that could hurt your season.
Yeah.
Because you had a chance to go up on Seattle. You score a touchdown. You would have been up a touchdown going into half.
I'm a little high on them this year. I think they'll fix the little.
Their defense was
like
good.
Yeah.
Their defense was really, really good. So I feel like they kind of surprised me. Them and Jacksonville both.
I'm trying really hard to take you serious right now.
I know. I'm sorry. Just don't look at my eyes.
Yeah, I just.
But Jacksonville kind of impressed me too because they had a chance to beat Green Bay.
Yeah.
They just said.
Aaron Rodgers, he is a samurai. I mean, there's something about this guy, and he's playing confidently, like he knows he has his weapons back. That when the pull down and the throw he threw, we were so amazed at that one. So, Packers, man. How far are you? Super Bowl bound?
No. I think they'll still. I mean, it seems like there's always something every year. Last year they got lucky with that when they were playing the Cardinals, just to be in that game because he hit a Hail Mary at the end of that game.
Yeah.
To
You're
put
not
him
a fan
in
of the
overtime.
discount double check, huh?
Nah, not really. I think that everybody's super high on Aaron Rodgers all the time, and I think he's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
But do you think you take him over every other quarterback in the league?
Yes.
You would?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I would say Brady being the best, but I know Brady will be 40 years old. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers, man. I'm definitely taking Aaron Rodgers, yeah. Who would you take over?
I don't really know. I don't think anybody.
I mean,
it's tough. It is tough. I think it's just like a, kind of, he's the only one there, really. Because who else could compete with him? We got a lot of young quarterbacks that are decent, but they're not. They still need a couple more years before they can take that next step.
Tom Brady for the next 2 years, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's as far as heading into the future. I'm taking.
Drew Brees.
Yeah, Drew Brees.
He's a little bit older. Yeah.
So
You don't think Matt Ryan? Would you take Big Ben? I think Big Ben's probably the closest to him. You think? Big Ben's got the injury problems, but Aaron Rodgers been known to get hurt too.
But again, Big Ben has the injury problems.
Yeah.
That's going to be lingering in my head as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
What else you got on your little list over there?
The only other game, I don't think there's really.
Do you watch any Monday night games?
The LA San Francisco game. I'm surprised that San Francisco came out that way. But the thing I hated is why are we not starting Jared Goff if your offense looks that bad? Their offense looks so terrible. How many 3-and-outs?
Why are
you might as well just start
firing Fisher?
Yeah.
That's a fireable offense.
He's had
played
six
terrible.
winning. He's had 6 winning seasons in the last 21 years.
Terrible.
Who gets that long?
Terrible.
Yeah.
And you know they always draft a lot of offensive players, but there's only one that worked out. I mean, he's got Gurley there, but that's terrible. Yeah. And again, you know, on the other side of the ball, Chip Kelly, I feel like, one, if he's got 8 months to plan for anything, he's going to win.
Yeah.
But
his first year might be really good.
Well, he had his quarterback looking great.
Yeah.
He had his quarterback looking really, really good for that. But at the same time, it's a little deceptive.
I also feel like the Rams, either they show up or they don't show up.
Yeah.
It seems like that's the way it's been the last couple of years.
The only thing I would say about that game is that they scored 4 times.
Yeah.
But they had 16 possessions.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah. Hey, somebody said, I seen a post today where it's like, hey, the Rams still haven't scored a touchdown in LA since 1994. Scored any points, I think that's what they said. I was like, that is hilarious. That is really hilarious. So that was a good one. All right, that's our wrap up for you got any other games? The only other game there was the Houston game, which it was what it was.
Yeah, I mean, Brock Osweiler looked good.
Yeah,
you know, I think they'll be a 500 team.
Yeah, they were also playing the Bears, which I don't think the Bears are. I think they're terrible. So,
so
I think the Bears are going to win 4 games this year.
All right.
But I also thought Minnesota would lose this weekend too. So
really. So
that was my lock of the week, baby.
Really, yeah. I hope nobody took that bet.
Oh gosh, I'm glad nobody knows where I live.
You have a lock of the week for this week.
I do. But let's do college football first. What did you see at the college football this week? I mean,
college football for me, man. I watched Harbaugh.
Okay.
That's an NFL team.
Yeah.
That's definitely an NFL team. He has his team dominate. And it's all coaching and things like that. I
think they could win the Big Ten this year, just because I feel like Ohio State's a little down this year, more so, and I also think that Michigan State's a little down compared to what they have been in the last couple of years. And I feel like Harbaugh, he's got that. This is like his prime right now.
Yeah.
These next 2 years are going to be
the
his prime.
quarterback he had,
Michigan.
The Walton kid, I think he was a 3rd string, wasn't he? The
so.
junior?
Yeah, I think
he
so.
was a 3rd string. I mean, 6'6", 240.
Yeah.
He's a big kid, but he was, throwing some dimes in that game.
They also haven't played anybody.
True.
So
college
football was terrible.
College
football matchups this week was terrible.
Yeah. No,
I looked at the lineup and I was just like, there's not one game I want to see. You know, the only thing I took from this weekend was the Oklahoma State. Did you see any of that? How they lost?
No.
Okay, so Oklahoma State had the ball. It was 4th down, and there was 3 seconds left on the clock. Mm-hmm. So if you take a kneel, the clock stops automatically. So what they did is they just dropped back and threw the ball down the field to run the timeout. Well, they called an intentional grounding, and the refs got it wrong, and they said that there should be an untimed down since there was a turnover on downs. They said there was an untimed down for Central Michigan. Central Michigan threw a Hail Mary to a kid, and the kid caught the ball on like the 6-7 yard line, and then he lateraled it to another kid who ran in for a touchdown. And they looked over the rules at the end of the game after they had already declared Central Michigan the winner, and they said that no, there shouldn't have been an extra play. And so Oklahoma State pretty much kind of got screwed out of a win. And then college football, I feel like college football is so important. Every win is so important in college football that there's so much money riding on that too. Like Oklahoma State, a lot of people thought that they would be pushing for, Big 12 title winning the Big 12 title this year. And if you get into the college playoffs, your school's making a ton of money. So I feel like the NCAA should just make that right. I know it's taking away a win from Central Michigan, but they should punish those refs, and they should make those refs go tell those kids, hey, we messed up. Because that is...
Got to put down some type of fines or something.
Yeah, I mean, you can't let that... For a team to lose a game, and every game is so important that way, that's just a joke.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that is a joke, and the NCAA doesn't have the integrity. They could say, oh, yeah, we messed up, but we're going to upheld what the referee said.
It's an archaic system.
Yeah, it really is.
Either way.
Well, it was even like, who would ever known that rule? On your team. Who would have known that rule? So, but your refs should know that. They're the people that get paid to do that job. They should know the rule, though.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
Because every year it seems like there's always one of these rules that come up where, nobody's ever heard of it before, and the refs are always like befuddled at the game, like, oh my gosh, what do we do?
Yeah.
It reminds me of that commercial. It's like when those refs huddle up and they're like, okay, what we're gonna do is you just make it look like we're contemplating what's going on,
Yeah.
everything, and then the mic's on the whole time. That's what I feel like that is. It looks amateur.
It is.
It looks very amateur.
It definitely is. I paid a little.
I
bit
bet
of
they're getting paid professional money though.
Yeah, I'm sure. I paid a little bit of attention to the Penn Pitt game. Just of all the stuff that was looming around, Penn State and everything that went on, they didn't look too bad. Again, I'm still new to the college game.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle.
But Penn State was huge in the news from everything that took place with Paterno and Sandusky and things like that. There was something else that kind of caught my attention because I feel like they're really trying to change the culture because James Franklin, he's the first African American coach
Yeah.
to be the head coach at Penn State, and so that kind of made me look in a little bit to see that they're trying to be a little bit more progressive and move on and just try to change the culture.
You have to. After what happened, you got to go. You know this way, and you see what it's got you. So you have to go a totally different direction.
So it's hard for me not to root for them because I still feel bad for the kids. But what they had to go through, that had nothing to do with it, the program itself.
That was just
so. That was kind of one I watched, and then I paid attention to the press conference that the Deshaun Watson kid had, where he was talking about where he felt that being called a dual quarterback was kind of playing on some racially profiling or that, and that's what I don't understand because I feel like that kind of hurts his first round prospects due to the fact that a God-given talent, you're saying you don't want to use. You don't want to be a runner.
And I think he's going to be number 1 and number 2 overall. Anyway.
Yeah, but what I feel like, if you're going to go into the league, I looked this stat up. Most successful quarterbacks in the league are above 60% completion. I believe he's at like a 52 currently. Yeah. And then you're telling me he's not going to be mobile or move his legs. Tells me that that's going to drop too.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility that he could drop just due to the fact of, one, him feeling that he's not going to do something, and two, it's going to lower your completion rate because you're not doing what you normally do to get the higher completions.
I think he needs to worry about what's going on because Clemson's been struggling.
Yeah, I get that.
So I think, I don't know. Like, I understand he's got a point, but at the same time, stats are what they are.
Like, again, he's lower than that 60% range.
Yeah.
So
and the NFL doesn't mess around. Right. I mean, Tim Tebow won games and they bounced him so quick. So, and he was a dual quarterback, wasn't he?
Yeah, he definitely was.
I thought Carson Wentz was kind of a dual quarterback.
He's a dual player.
Deion Sanders out there.
Bo Jackson.
Deshaun Sanders. All right, so we're gonna do lock of the week this week.
Yeah.
I am going to redeem myself. If the Vikings didn't score 2 defensive touchdowns because Marcus Mariota gave them the ball 2 times, I would have won that.
Mm-hmm.
I would have. And you didn't win either, so I felt a little better.
I was closer than you.
Hey, now you were.
So what do you got? What do you got?
I think my lock of the week is San Francisco at Carolina. San Francisco is getting 14 points, which anytime the spread gets that big, I'll take the points because, especially in the NFL. I know San Francisco is going from West Coast to East Coast. There's a 4-hour time difference. They're playing at 11 o'clock they're playing at 1 o'clock East Coast time. So I know there's some things there, but I feel like Chip Kelly's going to have them ready where they're not going to lose. Their defense looked pretty good. It didn't look bad. Navarro Bowman looked like a stud.
Not bad. Not bad.
And I think Carolina they kind of struggled last week too. They're offensively and defensively. So
Cam's playing with a concussion.
Yeah, that's true too. So that's my lock of the week. I guarantee I'm right this week.
Okay.
Guaranteed.
Oh, you got to guarantee.
I'll wear this suit again next week. No, I won't. I will not do that.
So I'm gonna go with. I'm a homer. I'm gonna go with Kansas City at Houston.
2.5. They're getting 2.5 points, right?
Yeah. So they're getting 2. So Kansas City's the underdog in that one.
I feel like they'll win.
And I feel like they're going to make the adjustments from last week. And just due to our defense, I feel like we'll have Jamal Charles back.
They said he might miss.
Really? I did hear that we probably have him back for a few snaps in that game,
Yeah.
actually. So we're getting 2.5, 3 points there. So I would say take the points, Kansas City to win 21-10 in that game there.
And I think their offense is going to be better. They're not gonna let Houston run all over them like
No,
they did with
definitely not.
Not with like San Diego.
Definitely
So
not.
it'll be a different game.
Definitely not.
But that's the great thing about the NFL. Every week is different. You
Yeah.
know, so the teams that you think like Minnesota that's going to fumble, they come out and win.
Yes, absolutely.
You know.
So hey, shout out to Kat for winning the bet, baby. I'm not in the unicorn /
I got something for her.
banana suit or whatever that is in there.
I got something for her.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, that's for Kat. Oh no, it's broke. Oh, I got another one.
No matter how many buzzers he buzzes, this suit here is it.
Oh god.
So again, thank you for watching the Flagrant 2. Continue to tune in for the picks and the shenanigans and everything that we do. I'm Keenan.
I'm Willie,
And again, we may not be right,
but we ain't wrong.
but we're never wrong. Hey man, all right, let him go and
Oh,
walk us
I'm
out.
out of here. I'm flying away.
Walk us out, baby.
Woo, flying away.
Yeah.
Yeah.